Man, it is a good time for good movies, isn't it? I just got finished reviewing and posting a review of the Barbie movie, which was phenomenal. And here I am talking about Nimona, too, which is also just an excellent movie. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that one's better than the other. Like, you should see both of these. And this one is, at least at this point, a little more accessible since it's a Netflix film. Which, from what I understand, I don't know a ton about the background of this one, but from what I understand, Disney passed up on this. God, what a mistake. Because this thing is so freaking good and has sort of a Disney-ish feel, but like in the way that Shrek kind of has a Disney-ish feel, but like they could have embraced that and rolled with it and really done something different. Like I don't hate most Disney movies, it's just they're all kind of the same thing anymore. This would have been really refreshing coming out of their repertoire. I know that about it, and I know that it's the adaptation of a comic by Indy Stevenson, the showrunner of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, a show that I loved very, very much. Still think it's one of the best cartoons to come out in an extremely long time. And I think, superficially, probably the best thing about this movie is that the kind of wry, sardonic sense of humor combined with over-the-top, super energetic movements and actions that show pulled off really well. It's all that's all here too. It feels tonally kind of similar to that. It's also a story taking place in a fantasy kingdom. Though what I think is really interesting about it is that it's a fantasy kingdom 1,000 years after when you would typically set something in a fantasy kingdom. There's like tech and stuff. Tech that's more impressive than the tech that we have now, with the entire kingdom being built up around this legend of a woman who killed a monster and then built up society, constructing a massive wall around the entire kingdom to protect everyone inside should more monsters come. And we get to see the result of that 1,000 years down the line. And like there's some stuff that you kind of have to shrug at because they just kind of hand wave it like, apparently no one ever leaves this kingdom, and yet they have the concept of pizza and stuff. And also, where do they get the resources for all this technology? But like, clearly that's not what the story's about. So it's okay to just kind of not worry about that. It's more for the aesthetic and so that the metaphor can come through more strongly, because the story is about Nimona, an aspiring villain who only wants to be a villain because she's something. She's not human, and this is a society that fears anything different than the people in it. And so she wants to tear that down. That's her goal. And I'm not going to spoil the exact details of what Nimona is because it was the best part of the movie. Like, she avoids giving her backstory. And then we finally see it as she remembers it. And you could tell that some of the stuff that she gives like a fake one, like a Joker backstory earlier, to make a point. And some of the elements in that are real. But her real backstory is beautiful and tragic. And it makes you wish the movie would just walk it back and have things happen differently. But that would cheapen the entire point of the movie because things didn't happen differently. Just like the things in our society that led to class divides and othering and bigotry didn't happen differently. All we can do is move on and try to be better. And that's the point that this movie makes. Just because you're different, it doesn't make you a monster. And we have to be better. We have to be better for the people the society treats like monsters. And I loved it. I loved this movie a lot. Chloe Grace Moretz plays Nimona, and her performance was just perfect. Like, everybody in this was good, but she had such a tough job. She had to bring this lovability, and she had to be endearing, but she also had to bring this raw, chaotic energy. And I don't envy her the task, because God, it seemed hard. Because this is somebody who's like the instigating plot is that Ballister, a new knight, the first knight ever who's not like Highborn, setting a new precedent that anybody can be a protector of the realm, is framed for the murder of the queen. And Nimona comes in, she's all like, you're a queen killer, let me be your sidekick, we can go do more violence and stuff. And like, on paper, dang, it sounds like this good guy who had something bad happen to him just fell in with just the worst kind of person. But the performance of the character makes it clear that there's so much more depth to this person. Right from the start. So that anytime Ballister wants to trust Nimona, you want to trust Nimona too. And that makes the emotional stuff that happens later that much stronger. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get away with putting in the video in terms of clips from the movie, because YouTube's been cracking down even on using trailer footage in these things lately. So I don't know if I'll be able to show it off. Hopefully I will. But Nimona is also a shapeshifter. She shapeshifts incredibly freely, like she has other powers too. She's super strong and durable and doesn't take a lot of damage from actually being damaged. But primarily she's a shapeshifter, and she kind of anamorphs around. She just turns into different like generic animals mostly, like a rhinoceros, a whale, an ostrich. Nothing really special about them except that they're Nimona colored and can talk. But like, she doesn't literally become the animals. She just becomes shaped like the animals. So like, rhinoceros can't see really well, but she can. Obviously, animals can't talk, but she can. And they pull it off really well. Like from the first moment you see her start to use shape-shifting, it just feels right and feels natural, which is so appropriate because the way she describes it later, when she's not using her shape-shifting to just experience the world the way that she wants to be free, it itches. Like right before you sneeze. All the time. It's her natural state of being. And the animation really did a great job of portraying that, I think. Which is a good segue into pointing out that the animation in this is just gorgeous in general. It's a fantastic looking movie. Like, again, you have to kind of hand wave. You kind of have to ignore some of the, that doesn't make sense for what this kingdom is stuff. But everything just looks so good. Like the blending of the fantasy stuff and the future tech never looks awkward. This is one of those projects where a million things could have gone wrong, and yet they pulled everything together. I can't speak highly enough of it. I want more of this. I want more of this character. I want more of this world. Again, not even because the world is particularly super well thought out, just because it's cool, and the people in it are pretty cool, and I want to see where this society goes after the end of this story. And like, because Nimona was such a fun character that I don't need to logic my way around the lore of this thing. That doesn't need to be a thing I do this time, you know? Like, I don't know what the differences are between the movie version and the comic version, but I might seriously have to check out the comics. I don't even know what form they were published in or anything, but I'm gonna have to look into that. It's just very good stuff, and kid friendly too. Like, this is a movie that you could watch with kids. Obviously, it's a cartoon that's kind of riffing on the Disney black and white good versus evil formula thing, which is not a thing they do quite so blatantly as they used to, but is still a thing that is present in the fairy tale-esque stories. So I appreciate that. But because of that, it's something you can watch with your kids. And like, just like She-Ra was, I think you should. Because I think you're all going to get some really great stuff out of this. And also it sends them a good message. Being that thing I said earlier about people who are different not automatically being monsters. So, yeah, again, just like with frickin' Barbie earlier this week, what did you guys think of this one? But don't be too spoilery about it. Especially don't spoil Nimona's backstory and the emotional moments that came along with that, because it was just so freaking good. I don't want anybody to miss out on experiencing that. But what do you think of it? Let's see the discussion going in the comment section down below. Man, I'm really hitting it out of the park with these relevant movies lately. But yeah, links in the description to all the various ways you can help out the channel, including a couple of new ones. So check those out. Either way, though, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later. You know, I think I'm gonna have to do the Mario movie next. Not that one. The one I liked.